welcome to our lesson 4 tutorial of the web technology class. So today we're going to be looking at the tables and form. So in this lesson 4a, what we basically focus on is the table, right? Before we look at the forms. So now the HTML tables are a way to organize data in a structured grid format using rows and columns. So if you look at the way the HTML table is being structured, you can see that the HTML table is made up of several elements. You can see the table here, which is the main container for the table. Then this TRL signifies the table role, right? The table which defines the table role, right? You can see that. So the table head, which is TH, defines the table header cell, usually bold and center. Then while the TD, right, defines the table data cell, right? The table data cell. Okay, so we go to continue. So if you have not watched the previous lessons, I will advise you guys to start from lesson 1 down to this lesson 4 so that you can be able to understand how this works, right? So I will go to the application. Remember that in the previous lessons, we have already created our modules, which is this. We have learned how we can be able to use the HTML from the scratch. We have learned how we can be able to use CSS from the scratch. And now, what we want to do here is we want to learn how we can be able to define our tables, right? So now what I will do here, I will start from the faculty module. Remember that we have already started creating our application, which is the student group course management system, right? So I will open my faculty module. You can see the templates folder here. So I'll open the list faculty.html here, right? So inside this content body, remember that this extends index.html, right? Is this page is collecting all the layout design from the master page or the layout page, which is the index.html. So this block title faculty list will show at this end here, like this bar here, the name of that particular HTML will show out here. You show the title here. So then the content body will be defined inside the body, which this HTML page is inheriting from the master page or the layout page, which is being defined in here, the template, the global template folder, right? If you open this index.html, you will see the block content, the end block. So all the HTML we're defining will be placed inside this master page, right? So it means that every other page are inheriting from this master page. So every design will be like found here. That's why we have the menu header and the footer. And when we click on this faculty, get faculty list, right? It shows the faculty inside this block content, right? So now let's open our list faculty. So what I'll do here is to define our table for faculty. So I have my table tag like this, table, right? So this is the end, the table. Then I will define my table role, right? Then my table header. Then I can call this serial number, which is XN. Then I can call this table TH. I call this faculty name. Then I'll copy this and then paste it here, which is the faculty code. So let's just stop here. Let's go to the model. Okay, name and code. That's all we need, right? So now I will have another role which will be defining our data cell, which is the TD data cell. TD. So let's say serial number 1, then TD. So faculty name, let's assume that we have computing as the faculty. Then TD. So this will be faculty code, which is COM, right? So if I run this now, so if I run this, go to my terminal here, go to new terminal. So I need to activate my virtual environment, which is name of my virtual environment is env then the scripts activate, right? So pi after pi. So if I go to my application, oh sorry, let me just close this one. Okay, let me run it again. Okay, now if I click on this faculty, you can see that I can see the table here, although it doesn't look beautiful here, right? So we need to use CSS to bring it up to the center here. We need to change the style, the color, the text color to white so that to be clearer, right? Then we need to put a border here. So what we do, remember that in the previous classes, right? In the previous classes that we have already done, here, we have already created our CSS class, which is located in the static folder. You can see our static folder here. Please, if you have not listened to the lessons before, I invite you to go to lesson 1 down to this lesson 4 so that you can understand this tutorial. Right, so this is a CSS class, this is style CSS. So I will write a CSS class for our table, right? So I can decide to use a type selector like this, or I can decide to use a class. So let's just use a class. So using a class, you start with a dot sign, then the table like this, right? So what I would do is I want, remember the full screen take 100%, so I want the table to take 60%, right? I want it to take 60%. So I want the margin to be zero, then it should be auto, right? Okay, let me use zero auto, right? Okay, then I want, should I use a border? Let me use border, let me use line, or let me use dotted. Okay, then border collapse. Okay, then, sorry. Okay, so let's see what this will give us. Remember, this is a class table, so I will go to my faculty module here. This is the list faculty where we define the table. Remember that we're defining the table within this block content, right? It's not outside the block content, within the block content here. So I'll write my class because since it's a class, I'll write my class and I'll put the name of the class, which is table. So if I go here, so it's at the middle now, right? You can see the dots, you can see the borderline, which is dot, right? So I can go back to the CSS file, then let me see color, this is white. So I'll go back here again, then, okay, now everything is now white here, but I need the borderline to show within the th tag, right? I need the borderline to show within the th tag and the data cell. So what I will do here, I can decide to use the type selector, which is the th, then the td. So I have my border, which I want it to be 1 pixel thicker and it should be solid, right? So I have my padding, let's make it 8 pixel, right? So I want the texts to be at the left hand side. So I want it to come to the left hand side, which will be left, right, left. Remember the color is already white. So let's leave it like that. So let's run this. Okay, cool. So this is my table. You can see the serial number, the faculty, and the faculty code computing in this, right? So let me just put a break so that it will fall down a little bit. Okay, cool. Now you can see my faculty. If I've defined my tables, right, you can see that what I did here. So what I need to do here, right, because this is a data-driven application. So for each of the rows, like we have computing, we have the faculty code. I need two buttons here. The first one will be edit, and the second one will be delete, so that when this application runs, when this information is retrieved from the relational database management system, I can update and I can delete. So I need a two buttons here. So what I will do, I will go to the table here. Then in the table head, I will have the action. I'll call it action. right? So on the data cell, I will have my anchor tag. So for now, there is no link for now. So I'll call this one edit. Then I will have another one. Let's give it a little space. Let's use an MBSP. Okay. Then I will have another one which I will call delete. But delete, I need to enclose it within a form, right? So I need to include within a form. So I have my form here like this, right? So I can have my button. I can have my button. Then the button should be delete. So let's run this and see. Okay, so I have, okay, you can see what happens. I have the edit button, I have the delete button. So the edit button, let's make it look finer, right? So let's make these two buttons look finer. So I will go to my CSS class, right? I'll go to my CSS class. So I will have let me call this one button primary. Let me just call it button primary. Right, this class button primary. Okay, the first thing I will need to do is to display, which is the inline block. I will use my inline block, which is this, right? So I will have my padding equal 10 pixel. Let me put 20 pixels. So I have my font size, which changes the text size. I'll have, let's say, we can use 16 pixel. Then I have my color, which in the text color. Let's change to white. Then have my background color. Background color. If you want to find out, I can decide to use should I use new ingredients? Or let me just use a default color. So let me use is there any sky blue? Yes, let me use sky blue. Then I have, let's make the border to be none. Then border to be none. Then border radius. So let's make these border radius 5 pixel. Show me a what? Border. Okay, border radius. Let's see, 5 pixel. So the text will be in the center, which is text align, which will be in the center. The text will be in the center of the button. Then we should remove the underline from the text, which is the correction. Let's make it none to remove the underline. Okay. So I've defined my button primary. So what I will do here is to call this primary button on this edit here. So I will have my class, right? So equal to, I'll pass the class here. So once I load this, right, you can see my edit button, right? You can see how beautiful it is now. You can see it here. So I'll do the same thing for delete. So I want delete to be red because delete is actually dangerous. So I want it to be red. So what I will do now is to go to my CSS class, right? So I will just copy this, right, and paste it here, and then change this to button danger, right? So when I change the button danger, I can decide to use red or dark red. Is it dark red? Yes, it's dark red. So I'll copy this, then I'll go to the list faculty, then this button, yeah, I have a class, then put it here. So if I run this, okay, you can see, and now I have my edit button and delete button, right? But in a real life scenario, when I click on delete, it should like pop up a sign here that do you want to delete this faculty, right? So that's we had it here, right? So we had it here. So what we do is that the button, when the user clicks submit, which the type is submit, right? When the user clicks submit, so what happens is on click, which is this, you can see it here on click, which is equal to, right? Okay, on click. Now I'm returning. right? So now this return, we now like confirm that. So you are you sure? Let's use are you sure that you want to delete this row? Now, if it's yes, then it will delete it, right? But we have not actually passed our function to do that. So the next classes in lesson 5, we'll actually carry out that. We'll do that tutorial to complete the whole entire application, right? So now this is what happens. So if I run this, I can see what happens, right? Are you sure that you want to delete this row? Then once you click OK, it goes out, but we have not actually write function for this. Now the answer of this is that maybe person may mistakenly click on this, so that it will not actually delete this. So there should be a notification to show that are you sure that you want to delete this row? Now, so the person can decide to cancel or can decide to click OK. That means we want to. That's what we did here. So you can see what we did here, right? So we have our edit button and we have our delete button, right? So edit, when you click on edit, it goes to the edit form, right? So the next one we're going to add here, we're going to add two more buttons here, which is the add faculty and the delete all faculty. So once we do that, our next tutorials, we're going to like write functions for the add for faculty. So we can add faculty, we go to the database management system directly. Then the delete faculty, all faculty can delete all records from this list. Then edit faculty, we can edit for each of the row, we can edit, we can change, for instance, if I want to change this component into another name, I'll just click on edit. Then delete a row. If I want to delete this particular row now, I'll just click on delete like this and it works. So that will be done in lesson 5, right? So let's add two more buttons here. So I'll add it on top of this place here, right? I'll add it, let me just add my break here. So I will add the button. So I will just copy this, what I did here. I'll copy everything what I did here and then I'll paste it here. So just to change this one to add faculty, let's change to add faculty. Then this one should be delete all faculty. Delete all faculties, right? So are you sure you want to delete all faculties? Right? So let's see how it works. Okay, although it's not too fine, so let's try to put it here in the middle. Let's enclose it with a tag, then we'll pass a class to it. So I will copy this out of it. So I'll put div, I'll put it inside div. So I will define a class that will push this down so that it will be at the same level with this, right? Although I already have a class called table, right? I have a class table, I can actually use that. So class table. Let's see. Yeah, it pushes it, but the problem is this borderline. So let's remove the borderline from the class table so that it will be okay, so that I can use it for other things. So let's remove the borderline. Okay, cool. All right. So you can see how yeah, let's see. Okay, later we'll define that one. Okay, you can see how it works. We have our complete stuff here, right? We have our add faculty, we have our delete faculty. Let me separate these ones so that let me use the HR tag to separate it. Okay, we have our add faculty, we have our delete faculty. So we have our edit faculty and we have the to delete a particular row. Now these are the all the functions will be we write function for all these ones here, all these buttons here on our next lesson 5 tutorial. So if you can submit this, once we do this, we'll move on to department. Once the department is done, we'll move on the program and you guys will complete the rest of the application, right? The rest of the application. So when you get started like this, and you know how to do this, then you can pick up a project and start learning on your own. So now if I want to do the department now, what I will do now, since I've completed the faculty table like this, so I will just copy everything here from the faculty table. Now go to the department module here, then click on the list department here. You can see then I can decide to then paste everything here. Look at this control A, I just paste everything here. So what I will do is just small changes, right? So I will change this one to the department list. So I'll change this one to add department. Now this button here, are you sure that you want to delete all departments? Right? So then on the table, this is table for departments, right? So remember that every department belongs to a faculty, right? So what I would do here, on a real life scenario normal, I would put the faculty ID, but since this is just a learning class, so what I would do is here is to add the faculty ID, then the faculty name should also show in the department's list, right? So I will now have the table head, which this will show the department's name, and this will also show, oh, sorry, and this will also show the department code, right? So now the actions still remain. So what I will do here is to add the department name and department code on the table data cell, which here. So remember the serial number, which then this is the faculty ID, which let's assume the faculty ID is one. Then the faculty name, let's assume the faculty name is computing, right? Then this is the department code, department name. Let's add it, department's name. Then we have the department code. Okay. So this is the edit button. So sorry, department name. Let's give it software engineering. Or let's do software engineering. So the department code is SEN. Right. So now this one we change it. So are you sure you want to delete this? Okay. So everything looks okay here. So once I go to my stuff here, right? So once I click faculty is here. So when I click department, you can see our department. You can see it. So this is how I want to perform. So on the next lesson 5, all these static information we key in here, everything will come out from database. So what we want to achieve at the end of this whole lecture is when I click on our department, a form will pop up where the form we have the drop down for the faculties, then the department name and department code. Then the user will key it in and submit. So once it submits, it goes back to this list here and it shows the record that was submitted to the database server. Right? So now once I click on the delete all, okay, let me change it to delete all departments. Sorry, I didn't see that. So let me change here to delete all departments. Okay. So once I click this, that's changed. So when I click on delete all departments, right? So it will pop out. You can see, are you sure that you want to delete all departments? So if I click OK, it will delete all departments. That is what we'll be doing in the last lesson, right? So when I click on this edit button, this particular role, I can be able to update this particular role and then submit it back, right? If there's any change I want to make, you just click this edit button. Now, if I want to delete this particular role, you just click this delete button. You remember that this is just the design, just a front end design, which will be changing the design on when we're looking at chapter 5, we'll be looking at how we can be able to insert data into the database table, this department table, and also the faculty table, and every other tables that are being created here. Right. So even if I didn't complete all the tables, I believe that if I do for faculty, department, and program, you guys can do the rest, right? Because it's all about it's very, very simple, right? So we'll stop here in this lesson 4A. On lesson 5, we're going to look at the forms where we create our add faculty and our update faculty form. So that when I click on this let's go to faculty. So when I click on this add faculty, it takes me to the faculty form. So that's what we're going to do in next class. So you can see on the PowerPoint slide here, right? In the PowerPoint slide here, we're going to look at how we can be able to do that using the Flask form. We can see that in Flask, a Flask form refers to the integration of the WT forms with the Flask-WTF, right? So this is actually an extension tool that simplifies handling validation forms in Flask web application. So the reason why we're using this is one of the main reasons is it manages input fields, invalidates user input, and protects forms with cross-site request forgery, right? Because there's going to be a token which we apply because the security key which we apply in the next tutorial. So this is a very big problem, right? So once you use a Flask form, you're going to avoid these kind of problems, right, in your web application. Because this problem, how this problem work is an hacker can easily deceive your user to make a submission on a wrong HTML form, right? So in this process, the hacker collects your client's information. But when they cross site, when you make use of this Flax form here, and when you make use of this, it prevents that hacker from actually navigating that your page to be like it prevents the hacker from navigating your website to another page. So so that your user's information will not be lost or will not be stolen from by another user. So that is what this um, stuff does, this platform does. So we're following standard, we're using the platforms here on this application next tutorial. So I hope you guys enjoy this tutorial. If you don't understand it, feel free to ask questions. So we're going to, on the lesson 4B, we'll look at forms, right? Thank you and God bless you all.